Aside from time traveling, ancient world artifacts are the best way to connect with the past. By examining the craftsmanship of these objects, we can gain an understanding of what mattered to our ancestors, what they valued, what they believed in, and how they lived their day-to-day lives. But caution, this video might change what you think about the past. We've rounded up 15 of the most amazing ancient artifact finds that will surprise you, so stick around till the very end. Number 15. The Pesa Canoe. History Supreme is the world's most expensive yacht, estimated to be worth $4.8 billion. Yes, billion with B. It is known for its lavish construction using gold and platinum, and its unique features like a statue made from a T-Rex bone and a liquor bottle with an 18.5-carat diamond. Now, this thing might not be as flashy, but it's arguably more valuable to human history. The Pesa Canoe is the world's first, at least as of now, boat built by humans, dated between 8040 and 7510 BC. If you don't know, well, that's over 10 millennia ago. This era marked the beginning of humanity's shift from nomadic to settled life and the dawn of the Holocene epoch. And in the middle of that shift, someone hollowed out a single pine tree with stone tools and made something that could float. So no alien stuff. While History Supreme or the streets of Monaco flex wealth, the Pesa Canoe represents something richer, our first real steps across the water. Number 14. The Yarmmukian Mother Goddess. Well, this lady just looks like Venus figurines, but it's not. In July 2022, archaeologists in Golden Heights, Syria, uncovered something peculiar at a Neolithic site, an 8,000-year-old figurine of a mother goddess with eyes that looked oddly like coffee beans. Less than 7 inches long, the artifact was likely crafted by the Yarmmukian culture, one of the region's earliest pottery makers. Their legacy stretches across prehistoric Syria and Israel, but this particular figurine stood out. Its bulging, oval-shaped eyes didn't match anything found before. While some say they resemble coffee beans, experts believe they actually represent wheat or barley, symbols of fertility and new life. It's unlikely anyone at that time had even heard of coffee. Whether this figure was a spiritual symbol from an organized belief system or part of a lesser-known cult remains a mystery. What's clear, though, is that the craftsmanship and symbolism reflect an early culture deeply intertwined with nature, survival, and something we might call divine. Number 13. Kakuri puppets. The word Kakuri loosely means mechanism or trick, but these 17th century Japanese creations were far more than toys. They were automata. These intricately built mechanical dolls are capable of pouring tea, shooting arrows, or dancing, all powered by cleverly hidden gears and pulleys. They weren't meant for convenience but spectacle, often used by their wealthy guys to impress guests during social gatherings. One inventor, Hisashige Tanaka, even created human-sized versions that performed full theatrical routines, turning entertainment into pure mechanical magic. Audiences were stunned, and some even unsettled. We mean, just look at them. To outsiders at the time, these devices looked supernatural. Today, they're revered as early steps toward robotics, blending craftsmanship with storytelling and technical ingenuity. Many of the mechanisms relied on preset motions powered by coiled springs, with no electricity involved. Some are still preserved in traditional homes or museums, treasured not just as machines, but as reflections of a culture that prized harmony between art and engineering. Number 12. Medieval Seal of St Mary and St Wolfad. In 2011, this bronze seal bearing the Virgin and Child surfaced unexpectedly in Cobham, Surrey. It's believed to date back to the 13th or 14th century and carries the Latin inscription, Seal of the Church of St Mary and St Wolfad. Its presence in Surrey raised questions, especially since it was made for Stone Priory, located miles away in North Staffordshire. Well, Stone Priory was founded by King Wulfhere of Mercia in the 7th century and became a religious stronghold linked to local martyr St Wolfad. The seal likely fell into private hands after the priory's dissolution in 1538 during Henry VIII's Reformation. That it was found by a metal detectorist centuries later suggests a long journey full of unknown chapters. These small objects often outlast the institutions they represent, and in this case the seal acts as a rare and tangible link to a medieval religious community whose name might otherwise be buried in dusty records. Number 11. Aztec Mosaic Votive Skull. This creepy thing is housed in the National Museum of Anthropology in Mexico City. The mosaic votive skull is a blend of ancient legacy, modern artistry, and some creepiness. At its core is a real human skull, believed to be from an Aztec man, but the striking turquoise mosaic that covers it was added much later, in 1967. The museum commissioned the decoration to recreate the distinct ceremonial aesthetic that once defined Aztec mortuary art. Unable to find an intact original, artisans created one using traditional materials and techniques. The turquoise itself was sourced from former Aztec territories like Guerrero, Veracruz, and Oaxaca, regions where the blue-green stone was once considered more valuable than gold. While the skull beneath is authentic, and the art form is historically accurate, the final result is technically a replica. Even so, it reflects a deep effort to preserve cultural heritage, offering visitors a visual insight into how Aztecs honored their dead. It's an unusual mix of old and new, but one that still tells a powerful story. Number 10. Statue of Pan. In Istanbul, among the remains of the 6th century church of St Polyeuctos, researchers found a broken statue of the Greek god Pan, an odd discovery in an early Christian setting. And it was pretty odd. The statue, partially preserved with only the head, torso, and arm remaining, depicts Pan in his usual form, wild-haired, horned, and playing the reed pipes. But how did a pagan figure end up in a Christian structure? The answer might lie in the modern backfill used during excavations in the 1960s. It's believed that when roadwork unearthed the ruins, debris containing the statue was inadvertently mixed into the backfill that later covered the site. Though the statue is damaged, the craftsmanship and materials suggest it dates from the Roman period, likely repurposed or discarded centuries before the church was even built. As of now, it serves as a strange but meaningful reminder of how cities layer their histories, one civilization placed over another, with relics of belief systems that once thrived where now they no longer belong. Number 9. The Bullswis Sword. In August 2022, a 1,000-year-old sword came to light in Lower Silesia, Poland, but where exactly remains a closely guarded secret that no one knows. Believed to date back to the reign of King Bullswis the Brave from 967 to 1025, this weapon is associated with the knightly class that served under Poland's legendary ruler. Though the sword is broken like me, it's goodly well preserved. So much so that some archaeologists commented on its near-pristine condition. With a length of over 3 feet, the sword is both elegant and heavy, likely cumbersome in battle but a symbol of status and power nonetheless. Local historian Marek Kowalski described it as priceless, claiming it would have been worth more than everything in the nearby medieval villages combined. The region saw intense conflict between the Piast and Czech Bohemian forces, and many believe the sword was left behind during one of these brutal clashes. What's clear is that this artifact carries with it a legacy of loyalty, bloodshed, and forgotten battles. Number 8. Ancient Athenian Curse Tablets. Back in February 2020, a team working in Athens uncovered something oddly personal: dozens of ancient curse tablets hidden at the bottom of a burial well in Kerameikos, one of the city's main cemeteries. These thin lead sheets date back 2,500 years and carry rough, hand-etched inscriptions. They weren't love notes or religious texts. They were bitter pleas aimed at enemies, asking the gods of the underworld to intervene and strike down specific people. In a world without emails or messages, this was how people vented their deepest grievances through divine appeals. Names are mentioned. Offenses are unclear. What's certain is that someone wanted revenge badly. Wells were often used to drop such tablets, likely because they were believed to carry the message downward, closer to the realm of the gods. Similar practices existed in Rome too, but each tablet here offers an uncensored peek into ancient social tensions. It's a reminder that spite and desperation are as old as civilization itself. Number 7. Kamur Castle. In October 2011, archaeologists began a survey near Doneraile in County Cork, Ireland, and what they found beneath the surface was something long erased from view. The foundations of Kamur Castle emerged, alongside traces of the moat that once surrounded it. The name means Fort of the Dugans, referencing the ancient chieftains who built their stronghold here in the early 5th century. The Dugans remained until the Norman arrival in 1169. Unfortunately, the castle itself didn't survive. The structure was intentionally dismantled in the mid-9th century, and its stones were repurposed elsewhere. But while the walls were gone, history had one last secret. At the rear of the former castle, archaeologists unearthed a well, and at its base, an unexpected stash, a leather horse harness, gaming dice made of bone, shoes, and a belt with its buckle intact. Oddly, everything dated to the 13th or 14th century, centuries after the castle was abandoned. Why were these items left in a forgotten well? No one has a clear answer. Number 6. Decorative Heater at Żelazny Castle. Excavations at the site of Żelazny Castle in east-central Poland took a vivid turn in November 2022 with the unearthing of a beautifully tiled medieval stove. The clay base and vibrant enamel tiles give insight into the lifestyle of Poland's aristocracy in the 16th century. Located in a remote wetland, the castle was once a wooden structure, and these colorful stove tiles featuring rich greens, yellows, blues, and whites would have been a symbol of wealth. Designs include plant motifs, geometric patterns, and even depictions of human figures and griffins, revealing a taste for both elegance and storytelling. Alongside the heater, remains of ox and pig bones were found, along with fragments of ceramic vessels. These suggest that the space wasn't just about warmth, it was also a place of celebration. Feasting and fine design came together within these walls. Though time erased the castle itself, what's left behind continues to paint a detailed picture of life among the elite in Renaissance-era Poland. Alright guys, now let's talk about Number 5. Astronomical sphere ring. What appears at first glance to be an ornate ring is actually something far more complex. It's an astronomical instrument that you can wear. Known as an armillary sphere ring, this delicate piece of jewelry is made up of multiple interlocking bands that unfold into a miniature model of the heavens. Though small, it echoes the design of large celestial spheres used by ancient astronomers to track the movements of stars and planets. These rings likely originated in both China and Greece independently, with each culture adapting them for both scientific and symbolic use. Some featured as few as 2 bands, while others had as many as 8, intricately etched with zodiac signs or celestial markers. They weren't just status symbols, they were quiet displays of knowledge meant to show intellect rather than wealth. The ring's center would often hold a tiny representation of Earth or the Sun, depending on which system the maker followed. Today, surviving examples are treasured for their craftsmanship and quiet beauty. Number 4. Kamur lion statue. During construction work for a water pumping station in Phnom Penh in September 2020, workers digging deep below street level unearthed a 2-piece stone lion, standing more than 12 feet below the modern surface. The statue's scale and style resembled the guardian lions that traditionally stand watch outside Khmer temples. Yet something didn't fit. Nearby Wat Phnom Temple isn't missing any lions, and none of the existing ones match this one in size. Historians believe the lion may have come from a long-lost religious structure that once stood beside the temple but was destroyed long ago. Dating back to around 1372, when Wat Phnom was constructed, the statue's weathering makes it difficult to determine its exact age. Stone, unlike metal or wood, rarely offers easy clues. Still, the craftsmanship is unmistakable, and its discovery reignites questions about what other structures once stood where the city now stretches. For now, the lion stands silent, separated from its original place of worship, but not forgotten. Number 3. Dutch ship stern statue. In July 2022, Dutch fishing crew WR22 pulled something unexpectedly amazing from the North Sea. They found a striking wooden figurehead that might date back to the 17th century. The statue was found pretty intact, and at first glance seemed to match the stern ornaments once placed on Dutch maritime vessels from that era. Yet something didn't quite add up. The figure wears a Phrygian cap, a symbol tied more to ancient warrior cultures than 1600s naval traditions. These caps were worn by Phrygians, especially during their resistance against Roman rule. At one time, they symbolized shame, used to hide the shaved heads of enslaved warriors. Over time, though, they evolved into icons of pride and freedom. That makes the cap's presence here a strange detail. If authentic, the statue could be a tribute or perhaps a reused design with layered meaning. For now, it's undergoing preservation as experts prepare to analyze it in depth. Until then, its origin and purpose remain open-ended, but clearly significant. Number 2. The Sumerian King List. There's something deeply strange about the Sumerian King List. Among its various copies, the most well-known version, the Weld Blundell Prism, sits in the Ashmolean Museum in Oxford, but was originally unearthed in Iraq in 1922. At first glance, it reads like a historical record of Sumerian rulers, and the most recent names seem normal. For example, Sin-Magir of the Icene dynasty ruled around 3,800 years ago for 11 years, perfectly reasonable. But as you can see further up the list, the numbers become bizarre. One ruler is listed as having reigned for over 3,600 years, another for more than 40,000. Obviously, these are impossible, but no one knows why such exaggerated figures exist. One theory is that these inflated reigns were symbolic, used to emphasize a king's greatness. Another suggests the reign was inherited directly from father to son, and counted as one. Either way, the list has left scholars scratching their heads for a century. Myth, exaggeration, or something else we still don't understand. Number 1. Forma Herbis Romae. Commissioned by Emperor Septimius Severus around the year 203 CE, the Forma Herbis Romae was more than just a city map. It was a masterwork of marble cartography. Measuring an enormous 60 by 45 feet, this detailed blueprint of ancient Rome was carved into 150 interlocking marble slabs and mounted on a wall inside the Temple of Peace. Every insula, bath, and temple of the capital was captured in astonishing detail, including the ancient boundaries of the city. One Cork South was positioned at the top. Over the centuries, as appreciation for such craftsmanship faded, the slabs were looted and repurposed. Only 10% of the original has survived. Still, the fragments give researchers invaluable insight into Roman urban planning. What makes the Forma Herbis stand out is not just its scale, but its precision. It wasn't created for tourists or decoration. It was a statement of imperial pride, knowledge, and control. An ancient GPS, cut in stone, lost to time, yet never entirely forgotten. If you found this video interesting, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.